So welcome to this website tutorial for the NZAP website. This tutorial is just going to run through how to set up a new event posting, and also included in this video is how to add a image file to, in particular, an event posting, but the same applies for posts and for pages. It's the same process to add media to all of these different kinds of pages. So first of all, as always, you'll see that I'm logged in, and in terms of how we get to new, you'll have access via a couple of different ways. Now I have access to everything, so you can see I can add new event, or you can hover on events and we can see here we have add event. So we just hover on events, click add event, and that's going to enable us to add the details of this new event. Now you'll see when we're adding an event that the format is immediately recognizable as the same basic layout as pages and posts. So that's good news, that's familiar. What we have down here is the event's calendar details. Okay, so we'll see that we've got various things that we can add to show in the event calendar item. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add a listing here for NZAP conference 2015. Now I've set up a flyer here on my desktop to add it as an image file. So let's just add that title, shifting ground, and we'll have the details there to add in as well. So now we've added something, let's just click Save Draft, and that will make sure we don't lose our work as we move through. Now I'm going to make this pretty basic at this point, because this is just to get a listing up for the conference so that we've got it in the events calendar. So let's just say in the text body, further information about the 2015 conference will be added to the website as it becomes available. Okay, so that's a nice little simple sentence. Now let's just click down a couple of lines and let's just use these align buttons here. So we're going to align center, and I want the cursor to be sitting now where I want the image that I'm going to add to appear. So wherever this cursor is flashing is where the image is going to start and drop down into the screen. So to add an image, and as I said this is the same for posts and for pages, we just click add media, and that takes us into what is called the media library in our site. So you see there's already quite a few documents there. To add something, click upload files, select files, and on my desktop there I've got the image just sitting there. So we're just going to click on that flyer. You'll see it's uploading, and once it's uploaded we'll see it appear there. So that's perfect. Now we can do all sorts of things to the image. We can edit the image at this point, we can change the size and so on, but what we're going to do is we're just going to leave it as it is and click insert into post, and that image there, as you can see, pops up nicely. Now we can now preview this. Let's just click Save Draft, and then let's click Preview, and this will show us how it looks. So I'd quite like that to be bigger. It's not quite big enough in my opinion, and it may not actually need to be centered either. So let's go back, and we can edit the image by simply clicking on the image. You'll see once we click on it these boxes appear. Click on the pencil, which takes us to image details. So first thing we can do is we can change the size. So let's make that full size, and let's align it left. See, click update, and we can fiddle around with that. So as you can see, that's now far too large, takes up far too much space there. So let's click on edit that image. Scroll around until we find the pencil, and let's go to, it was medium, that was full size, let's go to large in between, see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks much better. So let's save draft. You don't have to save draft before you preview, it's just a little habit of mine so that in case anything happens we've got the version saved. Yes, I think that looks quite good, that's probably big enough. Now we can also manually change that around if we want to. So what we can do to manually change the size, if we want sort of a size in between, so let's go back to edit, let's change it to medium and update. I think actually the perfect size is going to probably be in between medium and large. So we can just click on those corners there, you see the squares on the corner, we can just click on those and drag it out and make it a little bit bigger. So let's click on preview and see how that looks. Yep, I think that looks pretty good, and you'll see that it defaults so that the information about, so you can see it's starting to pixelate, so we probably don't want it much bigger than that, and that the information about the event starts to appear next to it. So let's just scroll that up and let's go down all day, start date and time. So if we click here it brings up a calendar, which is really cool. So we can just scroll across, select the dates, and it starts on April the 16th, and then we click on the calendar, it defaults back to that first date, finishes on the 19th. And then if it's a different, if there's a recurrence of a training event, we can add that there. So you'll see that we've got a lot of venues already installed there. So at this point we've got the venue there, so let's put the venue name, which is Te Puna Wanaka, CPIT. Don't know the address yet, but we can go back and add that in. And Christchurch, which is the other important thing, because the city will show up in the listing and will enable people to search by city. So we add New Zealand, show Google Map, yep, show Google Maps link, absolutely. Now the event organizer, we don't have that information, so we're going to go back and add to this as we go through. We can also put email addresses and so on there, and various other bits and pieces that will allow information to show up. The last thing, which I'm going to do before I save this, which is really important, is that we want to make this one in particular an NZAP event. So we've got two categories. We've got NZAP events and other events. The NZAP events get prominence in the calendar, and that they show up in the sidebar within the website. So let's just let that save first before I get ahead of myself, and let's go to view event, close that preview page, and I'll show you what I mean. So now, there we go, we've got a nice listing there, initial listing for the conference. But now we've created a listing in the event calendar for that conference. And as we add in various other bits and pieces in terms of actual addresses and information and stuff, that will come up. The cool thing is that people can add it to their Google Calendar or to their iCal, which is the Mac calendar. So if we just go to a random page now, we can now see that the upcoming events, this has been posted here, because this upcoming event sidebar gives prominence to NZAP related events, where we tick that NZAP box as the category. So you see we've got the Gene Knox workshop and the NZAP conference showing there ahead of all of the other trainings. Now when we go to the calendar, it will display all of the events. So when people actually go to the calendar page, you'll see all of those events are displayed. And if we scroll down, here we go, April 2015. And we can also click. At the very least, when we set something up, we should always put the city, because that will enable people to find events by city. And we'll go to Christchurch, and there we go, conference. Shows up in the calendar event as a listing. Click on that, or click on Find Out More. Takes us back to that event listing. Now obviously we can expand and add as much information as we like. As you can see, let's go to edit, back to the posting. Let's click edit event when it's displayed. We can go back and we can choose things as right down to the level of detail in terms of cost, event cost, a website, all sorts of information. But let's set up the basic listing today for the NZAP conference. Okay, hope that's useful when it comes to setting up new events.